Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting of the Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area's Public Schools Trust to order. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the October 15th meeting, and I would recognize a motion to that effect.
Move approval.
Been moved. Is there a second?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next order is to approve the minutes of the October 29th, 2013 meeting of the Oklahoma City Council, Oklahoma City Public School Board of Education, and Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust joint workshop special meeting. I have a motion to that effect.
Move approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. I'd like to ask for a motion to strike number 4. We are still waiting on the district to provide the information, so I'd ask for a motion to strike that, and we'll continue to defer it.
I like that motion.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote. Approved. Next, we're being asked to approve a memorandum of agreement between the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust, the Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust, and Independent School District Number 89, not to exceed $1,500,000. Mr. Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the trust. If you recall, the TIF district agreed to put $1.5 million into the John W. Rex project, and this is the actual agreement that spells out all the particulars of that. Specifically, it shows that we agree to construct the building, which is already under construction. So like I said, it's just a formal agreement for that $1.5 million.
Are there any questions? Yes, Anthony.
This would not preclude any other TIF funds being used for John Rex or for another school project?
No, it would not. There's still additional funds there.
Other questions? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Moving into amendments and change orders. First, a recommendation to the Board of Education, Independent School District Number 89, to approve amendment number 4 to the contract for architectural services with MA Architecture, LLC, for Capitol Hill High School, an increase of $10,500. Are there any questions about this? Seeing none, I'd recognize a motion for approval.
Move approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Item number B, approve change order number 2 for the John W. Rex Elementary School, increase of $227,126.46. Any comments, Mr. Todd?
I could hit the high points for you here on this change order. As you said, this is change order number 2. Item number 2 is revised grade beams. There was a sanitary sewer that was in the way, and the grade beams had to be revised a little bit so that they would fit around that sanitary sewer. Item 5 is an entry administration area that was modified at the foundation's request. Item 6 is windows and shade fins. This was a requirement from the Downtown Review Committee. And then item 7 is some additional roof insulation for $79,144.
Are there any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Okay, on these items that were requested by the school, will there be additional private funds to pay for those, or?
No, these will come out of trust funds.
Other questions? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. 1 no vote. Approved. Next item, approve change order number 8 for Prairie Queen Elementary School, increase of $77,598. Any questions? Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next item, being asked to approve change order number 4 for Rogers Middle School.
On John Rex.
Are there any questions about change order number 4 for Rogers Middle School?
I'll move approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next item is to approve change order number 8 for Jefferson Middle School, increase of $53,011.02. Questions? Is there a motion?
I do have a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Is the time for completion still December on Jefferson? Are we toward near the end on this one?
Yes.
Any other questions? I look for motion for approval. So moved. Been moved, or second?
Second.
Moved and second, we'll vote. Approved. Final change order, number 6, for Emerson Alternative School, increase of $5,400. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion for approval?
Move approval.
It's been moved and seconded, we'll vote. Approved. We've got 6 concurrence items. Are there any questions or comments about any of those? Okay, then we'll go through them one at a time.
I only have a question on F.
Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and approve A through E, and then we'll talk about F. Is there a motion to approve A through E? So moved. Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Now, with regard to F, it's concurrence with the district for rescinding rejection of the bids and increasing the architectural services fee to design the gym as a safe room for I-89 2007 school bond issue for Nichols Hills Elementary. Question?
Okay. As I read the item, it says that we were asked to rescind the rejection of bids, which means to me that the bids would be accepted.
Let me explain. They felt like that what was on the board agenda was not on there properly, so that action was rescinded. Then last night, as I understand, and Terry can correct me if I'm wrong, they had another item on there that rejected the bids, and we did not put that on here because we didn't know what actions would be taken last night, but that will come on the next trust meeting, is to concur with rejection of the bids. And then there'll be an item on there also to revise the architectural fees to do the safe room. So that's not on here because we didn't know what action was taken last night.
So we're being asked to approve a motion to rescind the rejection of the bids, the first bids.
That's right. Right, the action that they did, but
And then we'll have another
subsequently rejected them last night, and we will bring that to you at the next trust
for
meeting.
another concurrence. So is there a motion to approve?
I'm still not clear.
Okay, as I
If we
understand it,
vote to rescind the rejection of the bids, where are we? What?
you're waiting then for new bids, which were rejected last night, which will have another.
I think in effect what it does is it puts that bid still out there for either acceptance or denial or non-acceptance, and that will come at the next trust meeting, that we will have an item on there to reject the bids in concurrence with what the board did last night.
So then after next week's meeting, if that was done that way, then we'll have no bids, and they will go back to the drawing board and come back to us. Is that correct?
That's right.
So the school board has taken 2 different actions on this.
Correct.
And the one that the trust is being asked to approve today is the first one that occurred
That last night.
prior to last night.
What, to rescind, that's correct, prior to last night, to rescind that action.
And then at the next trust meeting, we'll have an item on the agenda to concur with the action that was taken last night.
Does that make sense?
That's not what this says, though. Okay, I'm not going to...
David, when was the board meeting prior to last night? Was it 2 weeks ago?
I assume so. Was it 2 weeks? 18th?
Okay, so at the October 18th board meeting, school board meeting, they took action to rescind the rejection of bids.
No, I believe at the 18th is when they rejected the bids, but they felt like that language was improper. So last night they rescinded that action and then had another action on there that actually rejected the bids in what they assume is proper form. Is that
Terry?
Thank you. Hopefully I can help clarify. I'm Terry Wolf, Senior Facilities Officer for the school district. In the original board action, the board did not approve the bids. They rejected the bids and added some additional language, which was later deemed improper because prior notice hadn't been placed in the agenda of that potential action. So last night, the board took 3 actions: to rescind the first activity that took place in the prior board meeting. Then the second action was to approve the addenda and reject the bids. And the third action taken last night was to approve the amendment to the architect's contract to allow the design as a safe room.
And we are being asked to address only the first action with this, and we will be asked to look at the next 2 actions next meeting, correct?
That's correct.
Does that make sense, Anthony?
Mr. Chairman, if I can
Yes.
clarify it, I think that it would be appropriate, either you don't act on this item at all at this time and wait and concur with their final actions that they approved last night, or you can amend this item to remove rescinding the bids and go ahead and approve the amendment to the architectural services. That was the wording that was not on their agenda before, and that was redone and approved. But since the school board really has not rescinded the bids, I'm not sure you should be concurring in that action.
Well, then why don't we suggest that we table this and not act on this?
Move the table.
What do we call it?
Well, I would just strike it.
Okay, strike it. Is there a motion to strike? Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Got that behind us. See, Valerie, you should have been up here. Now an update from Dennis Clowers.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the trust. There are, on the Maps for Kids projects, there are 18 schools in construction. By the end of this calendar year, 6 of those will be considered for final acceptance. Those are Parmalee, Arthur, and Rockwood Elementary Schools, the Belle Isle Enterprise School, and Northwest Classen High School and Northeast Academy. There are 4 schools, scheduled for final acceptance in early 2014. Those are Prairie Queen and Capitol Elementary Schools, and Jefferson Middle School and Capitol High School. So by early 2014, we should have 10 more schools final accepted. I-89 bond projects, construction is ongoing at 18 schools for classrooms and gyms. Those are Wheeler, Monroe, West Nichols Hills, Parmalee, Hillcrest, Pierce, Adams, Bodine, Horseman, Kaiser, Mark Twain, Putnam Heights, Southern Hills, Stanwady, Buchanan, Gatewood, Johnson, and Oak Ridge. Construction is ongoing at both Taft and Spiegel stadiums, and final plans and specifications are nearing completion on 5 gyms and classroom additions. Those are at Heronville, Fillmore, Prairie Queen, Rockwood, and Eugene Field. Our next trust meeting is scheduled for 2 weeks from today, Tuesday, November 19th.
Thank you. Any comments by trustees? Yes.
I, again, just wanted to address my no vote on the John Rex item. And this was a concern that I know that former trustee San Pedro had about the agreement for the tripartite funding for this project between the trust, the TIF, and the foundation for the school itself. It seems as if we just approved in the majority change orders that were bells and whistles above what we would do for any other school. And the agreement was that the bells and whistles would be paid for by the foundation. I just have some concerns about that, as I think Claudia did, that, you know, extra insulation is nice, but we wouldn't do extra insulation for any other school. Moving the water fountain is nice, but we wouldn't have moved the water fountain for any other new school. It is just a bit of a concern to take trust money to do extra things for this particular school, in my opinion.
Thank you. Any comments by staff? Citizens? Thank you. We're adjourned.